Welcome back to Math with Miss Reimer. Today we are starting on the beginning of multi-step equations, and so these will heavily rely on these 4 steps. We're basically just going to use these steps over and over again. First, we're going to distribute, if there's parentheses to distribute. Second, we're going to combine like terms. Third, we will get rid of the number that's not with the variable, so that number is called the constant. And then we will undo whatever the number is with the variable. Remember your inverses, addition and subtraction are inverses, and multiplication and division are inverses, so they undo each other. So we're going to be using those undoing each other operations a lot. So in number 1, the first thing that we need to look at are our like terms. So we have a 9x and a 7x, and then we have a 1 and a 5. So the ones that are like terms is where we're going to start because this doesn't have any distribution. So the 9 and the 7 is going to give me 16x. The 1 and the 5 will give me 6. And that equals 54. Next, we're going to get rid of our constant, which is 6, the number without the variable. And when we subtract 6 from both sides, we will get 48. And then we will get x by itself by dividing by 16, because that's the opposite of the multiplication here. And that will leave us with x equaling 3 as our final answer. Remember, we can always check that by putting 3 in for x, and then this side of the equation will end up equaling 54. So in number 2, the first thing we have to do is distribute. So we're going to take that 7, and we're going to multiply through to both sides. There's no like terms to combine, so now we will get rid of the constant. So a plus 7, the opposite is minus 7. So when I subtract 7 from both sides, I will end up with 84. And then 21 times n, the opposite is to divide, so we will end up with n equals 4 when we simplify that out. In number 3, the first thing we have to do is distribute, so we're going to take that 5 and distribute it into both pieces inside the parentheses. We haven't done anything with the 4m, so that's just going to hang out in front. Then we get 15m plus 50 equals 88. And then we need to combine like terms. So we see that we have a 4m and a 15m. So those two will go together to give me 19m, and then still plus 50 equals 88. And then we need to get rid of the constant, which is 50. So the opposite of plus 50 is minus 50. So we'll subtract 50 from both sides. And when we do that, we're left with 19m equals 38. And then I need m by itself, so I'll divide by 19, and I will be left with m equaling 2. In number 4, I'm going to start by distributing, so take that negative 6 and distribute it into both pieces. So negative 6 times 7x is negative 42x. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18, and that still all equals 108. Next, I need to get rid of the constant, or the number that does not have the variable in it, so I will add 18 to both sides. And when I do that, I still just get negative 42 equals 126. To get x by itself, I have to divide by negative 42. So remember, whatever we do to one side, we always have to do to the other side. So that will leave me with negative 3 for our x value. In number 5, I need to distribute first, so that 11 gets distributed into the parentheses. So we get 33x plus 44 equals 199. And then I need to combine like terms. So both of these have an x in them, so these are my like terms. So I get 31x plus 44 equals 199. Then I need to get rid of my constant, which in this case is the 44, the number without the variable. So the opposite of plus 44 is to subtract 44 from both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. When we subtract, we get 155. And then the last piece is we need to divide both sides by 31, because the opposite of that multiplication is to divide. And then we get x equaling 5 for our answer. Number 6, the first thing we have to do is distribute, so we'll take the negative 7 to both pieces, which will give us negative 7x minus 35. The plus 6 equals 13 just comes down because we haven't done anything with it yet. Next thing we have to do is combine like terms, so we'll take negative 35 and the positive 6, which will give us negative 29, and then the negative 7x, and then equals 13 are still there. So next I need to get rid of the number not with the variable, so that would be the constant, which in this case is 29. So we will add 29 to both sides. That leaves me with a negative 7x over here, and then that equals 42. And then lastly, to get x by itself, I have to do the opposite of times negative 7, which is divide by negative 7 to give us x equals negative 6. In number 7, we have 2 sets of distribution that we need to do. So we're going to take the 4 into the first set of parentheses and the 9 into the second set. So that will leave us with 4x plus 28 and then 27x plus 9 and still equaling 6. So then I need to combine like terms. So my 4x and my 27x will multiply to give me 31, or sorry, they'll add to give me 31x. And 27 and 9 will give me 37. Now we need to get rid of the constant, which is the number without the variable. So we're going to subtract 37 from both sides. And when I do that, I am left with a negative 31 on the other side of my equal sign. So to get x by itself, we will divide both sides by 31, and that's where we get our answer of x equals negative 1. In number 8, we have to start by distributing. So we're going to take that 2 into the parentheses. So we get 2x plus 4, and then still plus 3x plus 5 equals negative 11. Then we can combine like terms. So we have a 2x and a 3x, and then the 4 and the 5. So my x's together will give me 5x, and my 4 and 5 together will give me 9 to equal negative 11. I need to get rid of the constant, or the number not with the variable. So the opposite of plus 9 is to subtract 9, and that will give me negative 20. And then to get x by itself, I have to divide both sides by 5, which will give me x equals negative 4. In number 9, I still have to start by distributing. So I'm going to take that 6 into both pieces. So that will give me 12x plus 18, and then everything else just comes down. Then I need to combine like terms. So I have my x's are right in a row here, and my constants are here. So my x's together will give me 19x, and then my constants will give me 26x, or sorry, just 26. And then that still all equals 102. And then I need to get rid of my constant, so I'm going to subtract 26 from both sides. Then we will end up with 76, still equaling 19x. To get x by itself, we have to divide both sides by 19. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. And that's how we end up getting x equaling 4. And then lastly, in number 10, we're going to start by distributing from both sides. So the 5 coming in gives us a 10x plus 15, and then 42x plus 54, still equaling negative 35. And then combine like terms, so we'll take our x's together and our constants together. So our x's together will give us 52x, and our constants will give us 69. And that still equals negative 35. Subtract 69 from both sides, and we will end up with a negative 104 equals the 52x. Divide both sides by 52 to get x by itself, and we will end up with x equals negative 2. That's all for Math with Miss Reimer. Don't forget the 5 things. You are lovable, valuable, changeable, forgivable, and never alone. I hope you're confident in the math. I hope you feel like you know what you're doing, but more than anything else, I hope you know that I care.